Chatters, viewers, there's a lot of problems in this country. We know that. We talk about it all the time. There's a lot of problems. But there's one problem that is bigger than them all. There's one thing we have been asking for and begging for over and over again. And I mention it. It's the core root of a lot of discontent, a lot of angst in this country, and it's housing. People, especially young people, feel like they can't get a place to call their own. And that used to be a very stabilizing thing for society. Again, the average age of a first-time home buyer when I was born in 91, dear God, I'm old, was 28. 28 at the time. You would be in your early adult life, be able to get a house, start a family. Now it's 40. So it's gotten way worse. And finally, our great president, Donald J. Trump, has a plan to fix it. And it's called the 50-year mortgage. Released with this great Truth Social post that shows FDR, 30-year mortgage, Donald J. Trump, 50-year mortgage. It's 20 years better. Now, I want to explain what this is, bro, because here's the thing. Housing costs have gotten too expensive. People can't afford even the loan to get these houses because the monthly payment is too high. And so the market is starting to get wobbly. We had a great interview with Melody Wright about it. That'll probably be coming out soon, where we're going to try to explain that people can't keep up with these payments and prices will have to come down. But prices coming down is yuck. Our system can't handle prices coming down. We don't want prices to coming down. So what is the solution that we've always gone back to time after time after time again in this country? It's called subsidized demand. Subsidized demand, bro. All we have to do is find a way to increase people's ability to borrow and spend so that we can keep prices up. If you can't afford a 30-year mortgage payment, well, then we'll spread it out over 50 years so that your monthly payment is smaller. You're in debt for longer and you're paying way more interest. Let me be clear on this. The average U.S. housing cost, $400K right now. It's the average U.S. house. Now, obviously, it's way higher in some places, but $400K is the average cost of a house in the United States. So on that average house, if it went from a 30-year mortgage at current mortgage rates to a 50-year mortgage, you would save about $300 a month in payments. Hell yeah, brother. You can take out that big loan. You can take out that big loan because you can have $300 extra a month. How about that? And the only downside is that by the time you're done paying it all off, you will have paid an additional $400,000 in interest. 86% more interest over those next 20 years. But it's a small price to pay for a smaller monthly payment. How about that? Again, you can see this here. Total interest paid on a $400K house. For a 30-year mortgage, you're still paying $463K in interest. That's what it is now. Like, you end up paying in total $863K. You pay more in interest than the cost of the house. But because it's stretched over 30 years, that's what you get for a 30-year loan, bro. But when you're doing 50-year, you're not paying $863K just in interest on a $400K house. You are essentially in debt slavery for your entire life. 50 years is, you could be going into your 90s at current rate. It's absurd. And so it's so comically a bad idea. It works in that it lowers monthly payments and kicks the can down the road. It is the ultimate solve nothing, change nothing, fix nothing, kick the can strategy. But it is so transparently not how people want to live or what they want their life to be like. And by the way, it's not just this one proposed tweet from Trump. Bill Pulte, who we've talked about, who's the head of the Federal Housing Association, came out, the FHA, and said, thanks to President Trump, we are indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. But a game changer for who? It is a game changer to keep housing prices propped up as boomers die and sell. That's what it is. As boomers near the end of their life and they have multiple properties they are trying to unload and can't sell right now, they need people to be able to take out these loans to buy them. And because they can't afford a 30-year mortgage, they're going to extend it to 50 years. I hate this. I can't tell you how much I hate this. As a strategy, as a plan, it is morally and financially bankrupt, and it is a future of just endless debt slavery. Now, at the same time, it's not just the 50-year mortgage. Trump is also proposing $2,000 stimmy checks. So Trump is also proposing a $2,000 stimmy check funded with, I guess, the tariff revenue. This would be more than they've made on all tariffs, and they've already spent the tariff revenue on other things. And also, the tariffs might be knocked down by the Supreme Court. The only way this money is coming from is debt. Like the government's going to borrow it because we don't actually have it from tariff revenue. So a $2,000 stimmy check and a 50-year mortgage is a clear sign that they are like trying to head off a downturn by massively subsidizing demand, by just throwing more money at the problem, which again causes rising prices. Housing prices will go up if your mortgages, and you'll just be in debt longer. It's horrible. I think I want to kind of sum this up in a key phrase that is the core of my content for years now, which is whether it's Trump, whether it's Republicans, whether it's Democrats, whether it's a different country and your own, if you live in a different country and it's your own government, somebody somewhere is going to have to take the pain. We are getting to comical levels of can kicking. Each individual one has less and less effects and more problems, more side effects. Somebody has to accept that there's going to be consequences of prices going down and boomers having a worse outcome. Boomers are going to have to accept in some country, in some world, that the prices of the things they own have to go down. Their houses and their stocks, they have to reset to an economy that is tracked to actual wages. And this is truly absurd. Expecting people to pay double the cost of a house on interest for 50 years to be able to afford a regular house, by the way, and only getting it at age 40. First-time homebuyers, age 40, taking a 50-year mortgage. We're through the looking glass. We are in a disgusting alternative hyper world. It comes back to, again, the same as Japan, what I said. It all comes back to the government's complete inability to allow voters to take pain, specifically boomer voters. They won't let them take pain. They will do whatever they can in their power to subsidize demand, to prop up, to kick the can. Things don't work when you do that. The truth is that these prices need to come down, and they would come down in a normal economy because they would be tracked to wages of people that can afford them. Anyway, it's bad. So I like what Amy Nixon here said. Young people will be in debt for their entire lives. Their kids will inherit mortgages on home. Imagine passing down a mortgage to your kid. It's crazy. 50 years, that'll happen for a lot of people. They're getting a bill. Additionally, if I do a little economic extra look at this, one of the worst things about 50-year mortgages versus 30-year is that in the 30-year mortgage, for the first few years, you are paying basically only interest, but you relatively quickly start putting some of the money you're paying towards equity, owning piece of the home. So after like 10, 15 years, you own a good chunk of your home. You have equity built up. In the 50-year mortgage, you are paying basically only interest for decades. You could get a house at 40 and at 60 still own like 2% of the house. Like, you own a small percent. You've just paid nothing but interest. It's just a dark future, bro. It is a dark future. Now, I do want to say, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. This is a quote from me. This is a little bit of a patriarch. In that interview with Melody Wright, which is 5 days ago, aka 3 days before Trump posted this tweet, and then all these news articles started about the 50-year mortgage. This is from me. Or you do like Canada and you start getting like, it's like no one can afford the payment on a 30-year mortgage. So you start adding 40-year mortgages, 50-year mortgages, so you can make the payment smaller. So people can, like, you start doing anything like that so you can keep people's ability to buy at these prices possible. Is he watching? I put that out, and then 3 days later, Trump is tweeting 50-year mortgages. I'm the new FDR. This shit's crazy. But I was like half joking because it's such a comical thing to do. It's like such an admission of desperation of like, we have no way out where we can keep propping this shit up. I mean, what's next? Dude, because it doesn't solve any problems, the problem will continue, right? And so the next thing you have to do is a 70-year mortgage or a 100-year mortgage. You have to, when someone comes out of the womb, you have to give them a mortgage for their entire life. They're just in permanent debt slavery for a house they don't even own. It's ridiculous. I shouldn't say anything. You're gonna be watching, dude. I'll be having it next. White House officials are furious with Bill Pulte, the Federal Housing Finance Agency director, who talked the president into suggesting a 50-year mortgage plan. On Saturday evening, Pulte arrived at Donald Trump's Palm Beach Golf Club with a roughly 3x5 poster board in hand. A graphic of former President Franklin Roosevelt appeared below 30-year mortgage and of Trump below 50-year mortgage. The headline was Great American Presidents. Roughly 10 minutes later, Trump posted the image to Truth Social. This is a clown country. What that shows too, obviously Donald Trump is going to jump at any chance that he thinks he can be compared to great presidents and whatever. I don't think Trump deeply thought about the interest implications of the subsidized demand of the 50-year mortgage, but Bill Pulte did. And it shows that Bill Pulte and the FHA are seeing what Melody Wright was talking about. They are seeing the clear deterioration in the housing market. It's coming, fast and furious. It is coming. And so they're trying to get ahead of it by finding a way to, again, subsidize demand and prop things back up. But the data they're seeing is clearly bad. He is rushing to Trump's office to poster board trick him into pushing this horrendous idea. Could it be possible it doesn't even work? Yeah, of course it could. Yeah, that could absolutely be possible. But, you know, if you force banks to offer a 50-year mortgage using the power of the government, or you do it through the government, it can prop things up for a while. It can. I don't know if it'll work, but it can. Because, you know, let's say you're a young person. Let's say you're 27, right? There's a house in your neighborhood, costs $600K. You can't afford it, all right? The monthly payment will be too high. But if you can now get a 50-year mortgage, if they clear you for that, you know, if the government forces it through and they don't do a credit check or whatever, they can give you for that. Maybe the new monthly payment, which is a little bit lower, you can afford. You can barely squeak it by. So instead of the housing price having to fall from $600K to something affordable, you can buy a $600K house. It's out of your price range, but because of this loan, because it's over 50 years, you can buy it. And that keeps the housing prices up. It's horrible. It's bad. And we don't want it, but it could work to keep the housing prices up. But it's just a can kick. It's a can kick. Debt really is a magical free money with no consequences. Yeah, I think that really summarizes my content, actually. I think the core message I'm trying to give across is that debt is perfect and good, and nobody ever has to pay down the road. It's that governments and people can just borrow and borrow and borrow, and there's no consequences, and it's great.